Aloha all my wonderful YouTubers and guests. Y'all know who it is, ZeroHyperGaming here bringing you another reaction video. Now for tonight's reaction video, I'll be reacting to one of Bloomberg's posts from Uber CEO Kalanick caught on video arguing over fares, which is the travel fares for Uber, or what they charge. So I'm guessing I heard something about that Uber takes a lot of the fares, so when the driver excuse me, when the driver collects his fares and collects the money, I heard Uber collects a larger portion or percentage, and then the actual driver doesn't get too much back compared to what Uber actually collects. But let's go wait and see what else they talk about, shall we?
Exactly did this video reveal, and why is it important?
Well, it's really an unscripted moment. I mean, Uber's corporate culture has been in the news lately ever since Susan Fowler, a former engineer, wrote a pretty scathing blog post about her experience at the company. Then we received basically a dash cam video from a longtime Uber driver who's unhappy about the direction that pay for drivers has been going. He sent that to us, and
I got a dash cam too.
In this conversation, which takes place on Super Bowl Sunday, Travis is actually talking to some friends about the culture at Uber and how the company is doing. Have a listen.
My year is coming up, maybe 40.
What? Make sure every year is a hard year.
So Ryan, you've had to counsel many a CEO and a founder through through these unflattering moments. What do you tell them when they're in the kind of vortex of bad news like Uber is right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's true for any company. Like any crisis that happens, it's about truth seeking. How do you try and get to the root of what's going on and know that most of the infrastructure in the company around you is there to try and hold that information away from you? So you have to be actively and aggressively looking for that truth and then try and figure out how to solve it quickly and communicate as clearly as possible.
Well, I can't say,
oh yeah, they do face many battles.
Whether to write this story, but it seemed to me that Travis's personality is really kind of central to all these questions. This is a company that has changed how cities work, and he's not only talking about the culture of Uber, but really kind of showing a little bit of his pugnaciousness, right? His personality. So have a listen to this second clip where the driver challenges Travis Kalanick about the issues around driver pay, and he responds somewhat forcefully. Have a listen.
You know what? What? Some people don't like to take responsibility for their They blame everything in their life on somebody else. For phone card? Good luck.
Brad, that was some pretty surprising stuff. What do you think this really reflects in terms of Uber's culture? Is there really a trickle-down effect? I mean, when you have
damn, who is that? She was pretty bad.
Pugnacious things like that. What does that mean?
Anyways, back to the story.
This is why actually Uber has been successful because Travis, he doesn't suffer fools. He has bowled over every.
This is the first time I've actually seen the CEO for Uber.
The issue is that he has to be a politician now, right? He has to
deal
with these very sensitive constituencies. And here's maybe an example of him not putting his best foot forward. And Ryan, I'm curious to hear what you think. I mean, you're friends with some of these folks on the Uber management team, and you've known Travis for a long time. Do these CEOs and founders now have a responsibility to be a little less pugnacious and more politically astute?
Yeah, I think any company that ascends in the way they have and other companies have, there's a point where you're fighting as an outsider for a long time, and suddenly you're someone that everyone else looks at, and there's a transition that happens, and you see some leaders make it and some don't. And I think they're going through that transition now. I mean, watching this, I'm curious to see and think through, like, you guys get something like this dropped on your doorstep. Like, how do you think about the process of assessing that and whether you publish it or not?
I mean, Uber's a utility now. It's changed, the way these cities operate, and Travis's personality and Uber's culture is so very much in the news right now. So it seemed to me that when we got this video, that we really didn't have any choice. It's very much topical, and
Uber has changed a lot of things
about the man and about the company.
Yeah, but that's pretty much what they explained. So I'm guessing the trouble, I guess the trouble everybody had was the only problem in that video I saw was the way he just responded to the driver. The driver wants more pay, just a little bit more, which is just pretty fair. That's true. And then, but I do agree with the CEO on you have to work hard for that money. I mean, honestly, the pay isn't really bad for Uber. I mean, I think, but I think it depends on your location. I think Uber does really well at big cities, or including Hawaii, you know, New York, Chicago, California. I think it does really good in all those locations. The way I see it. But yeah, like honestly, even if they take a good portion out, like it's still a good amount compared to if you're to drive a taxi. I think Uber drivers make a little bit more than taxi drivers. But other than that, I guess some people take for granted that the one thing that you have is you have a lot of freedom and free time. You don't have an actual start date at work. You don't have to meet a certain type of quota. Well, you do because you have to pay your bills, but I mean, you know, a lot of this you're doing on your own time. That's the way I see it. Like, I see Uber as a side thing. For me, I don't see it as a full-time thing, but it could very well maybe a full-time thing depending when you started, how much you made. You know, you might be that go-to driver that everyone comes up against. But anyways, for that thing, I think I agree with what he said. I feel that, you know, if you have a company, you know, as a CEO, there's a point in time where you transition to that, you know, you become that, not some type of figure that everybody looks at. You know, they expect you to be a certain way, act a certain way, much like a celebrity. But I guess when you're in that role, you have to play politics now, because everything you say and do affects you and the company and everything else around you. Like, just like how he acted, the Uber CEO, you know, he didn't really get out of hand, honestly. Like, he gave a pretty straight answer. It was a truthful answer, but, you know, I guess the way, you know, because he's at such a high plateau that everybody sees him, everybody expects him to act a more professional manner, like 24/7 around the clock. And, you know, that's the whole politics thing for being a big CEO like that. But yeah, I guess positive side, he makes a lot of money, and then the negative side, now he has to deal with the politics. He has to change himself. He has to be a certain way, act a certain way. He has to be careful how he acts in public. But anyways, that's a lot to digest, folks. Alright, this concludes my reaction for tonight, folks. Stay tuned for more content and videos, and don't forget to check out Drunk FX and his nominations for one of his videos for YouTube, and also be sure to check out Bloomberg's YouTube channel, like, subscribe, and comment to the channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment to my channel, ZeroHyperGaming, folks, and follow me on Twitch. Alright, folks, have a great night. Like ZeroHyperGaming always says, mahalo, peace.